My self-belief is insane. It makes people uncomfortable, but it means nothing deeper.
You still get the chicken legs though.
Leave my legs alone, dude.
Today we meet Javeno McLean.
Personal trainer on a mission to make exercise for everyone.
Javeno McLean.
Javino McLean! The man who redefined fitness.
I've got, dare I say, a gift of just bringing people happiness through exercise.
24% of the UK population having some form of disability. That's 16 million people just in our country.
This is my limitations. This is where society has put me in this box. Within 7 seconds, within the first session, all I can do is just getting interesting.
I see a lot of pain in you.
Oh God, there's loads. I've taken over people's pain.
Wow.
Pain, you got to just learn how to use it. I like to use pain in a way to, have you got the courage to look impossible in the face and say, you know what, I'm still going to give it a go. I'm a hard, energetic, crazy person and people know me for that. And I do have highs and lows, but my lows are based on...
I think we're all at war with our minds. You're rewiring the mind.
All of the wonderful feelings will overshadow the pain.
How do you do that though?
My strategy is...
Imagine a world where disabilities dissolve in a sea of sweat and determination, where wheelchairs become chariots and limitations transform into superpowers. Javino is no ordinary trainer. In fact, he's a genius because he discovered the algorithm to happiness. Expect in this episode defying expectations, as well as smashing through any stereotypes. But most importantly, we will be proving that the biggest and strongest muscle around is the human spirit. To me, Javino is very, very lucky. He found his sole true purpose in life, his dharma, and he lives it every single day. He recharges his soul and brings smiles to so many people, not just the people that he meets, but the people that he touches through his social media. He's a guy that is spreading love, happiness, positivity, and everything else that you can think of that is just so positive. He is, of course, Javeno McLean. Was that your first ever singing bowl experience?
It was wonderful.
Was it good?
It was calming.
Was it?
It was really calming. Should I just take one out?
Yes, please.
Let's do it.
So the way we run our podcast is that I've selected words which we place into the singing bowl, which you then pick out. So hopefully the context of our conversation is around the words that are picked out. I am a true believer of everything happens for a reason. And we met in 2011.
Many years ago.
And here we are sat now doing this podcast together. So I kind of leave it to the universe to decide the flow of the conversation.
Yeah.
So what does the first word say?
It says impossible is possible.
So I feel like if I was to ever describe who you are and what you do, that would be, for me, would be that impossible is possible. Because what you have managed to give to people that are challenged in so many ways is this beautiful part of their life that they never thought was possible.
That's a really interesting thing that come out. To me, it's about bravery and courage. I've got some people who are the bravest people I've ever trained, bravest humans I've ever come across. Doesn't matter if they're disabled, doesn't matter whether they're black or white, what religion. As humans, these are some of the bravest people I've ever met in my life. To me, bravery and courage is summed up by simply, have you got the courage to look impossible in the face and say, you know what, I'm still going to give it a go. That's what my guys do, and they demonstrate that every day with me.
Are they of the mindset that they're not going to be able to do this?
A lot of people are broken.
Is that impossible? They must have been told so many times that they can't do this. This is going to be too difficult. This will be the biggest challenge.
That's all they've been told. That's all. Like, it's a shame that we live in a world now where the majority of what people say is you can't, you won't, you will not. So 9 out of 10 of my guys that I train, they come in there with the mindset of, this is my limitations. This is where society has put me in this box. And my thing is, within 7 seconds, within the first session, I want to let you know that we're going to smash that box. We're going to try and redefine your boundaries. And I try and do that with every session because there's nothing more empowering than somebody thinking that they can't do something. Somebody thinking that they can't go somewhere. And then when you actually achieve it, there's nothing better for motivational purposes and just inspiration than just like redefining your boundaries. And that to me is a daily occurrence at my place.
Is there a point where when you're, because obviously so many of your family members, I should say, even though they're your clients, when they're coming through the door on a weekly basis, monthly basis, bi-weekly basis, is there a point where you see the transition from when they first came in and they had this, I'm not going to be able to do it, but I'm willing to try, to I am absolutely smashing it? What does that feel like when you hit that point, and how long does it take?
It changes depending on the person. It's a beautiful feeling when you see somebody who find this, they get the confidence back. You see the belief literally start to ooze out of that person. To me, that's worth more than money. It's never about the money. It's never about anything else rather than giving that person a world-class experience where they can just create the most powerful memory. And to me, the transition is when you see it in the person, but also the transition is when you see it in the family. Because what people don't really understand is, God forbid anything was to happen to anybody in this room. Every hurdle that you have to jump over, every time you cry, every hospital appointment, mummy and daddy go through the same pain every single step of the way. Your brother, your sister, everyone in your family, they're with you. So when I see the family kind of get a piece of that love that me and that person have created together, and you see that love spread throughout the family, it's the most beautiful thing. And
it's a win for everyone, isn't it?
Of course it is. And it's so powerful. And it's something that I've tried to recently. I've stopped trying to describe it deeper because it's a feeling that's so powerful. I don't think words will do it justice.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big feat what you've taken on. You know, we're looking at 24% of the UK population having some form of disability. You know, that's 16 million people just in our country. And then you work with the elderly, which is another 11%, and it's like the biggest growing sector of the population.
Yeah,
there's going to have to be more work that needs to be done, right?
But it has to be based on love. I think what I've worked on recently is I need to be at peace with myself. I can't give my clients 100% if I don't give myself 200%. So I've worked on recently just finding peace within myself and just being the strongest version of myself, because every single day people don't realise I'm a hard, energetic, crazy person, and people know me for that. But every single day it's a battle of that with guilt. And I do have highs and lows, but my lows are based on just not being able to help everybody. And I wish I could clip my fingers. So I've had to find ways of finding peace and just say, you know what? Let's do my best today. Let me give this person, whether it's a cancer patient, whether it's an elderly person, whether it's somebody with a disability, let me give that person the most magical session so that it can travel so far to that person's family, community, to the world. And somehow I'm praying that can kind of smother the guilt that I've got every single day.
Let's pick another piece of paper.
I like this. It's heavy. Self-worth. I love that. Self-worth. Self-worth is one of the most important things on this planet. I speak about self-worth every single time, every single opportunity, every single speech that I have to do. Self-worth is the second thing that I speak about. Self-worth. It's a shame that some people on this planet feel just living a happy, healthy life they're not worthy of it. Going for a coffee, sitting down with your friend, listening to some music. Some of the greatest things in this world are the smallest things. Do you know what I mean? It's not the big, extravagant things. Some of the greatest things that
magical moments, isn't it?
The small things. And self-worth is something that I try and really push on to people when I see people who are struggling with it.
For me, you know, I really thought about this with the word self-worth, because everybody has got an issue with what they feel they deserve. I don't think anybody, unless you are a real narcissist, you are never going to be a person that thinks you're worth absolutely everything. You know, until you really truly believe it, and you have to go through a real journey to get to that conclusion. The friends and the families that you work with, they've pretty much not got any self-worth. You know, that's probably their biggest struggle, because knowing that they can't do just the normal things, and obviously, you know, I've listened to some of your podcasts, and it really like homed in on me when you can't scratch your face, you can't, you know, pull your hair back, as just normal things. There's something in how you're rewiring the mind, because I think we're all at war with our minds. But then you take it that next stage of, well, yes, let's get to war with your mind. Then let's show you what your potential is. How do you do that, though?
I think we live in a world where a lot of people don't connect as much as they should. My relationship with anybody isn't built on hesitation, isn't built on pretending. So whether it's you, whether it's somebody that I'm training, My relationship with you needs to be that pure, that real, where I need to know your story. In order for us to create something magical, one, there needs to be trust. In order for you to trust me, you need to know me, and I need to know you. I'm talking everything deep. I'm talking like your mum, your dad.
Well, I know because
everything.
I've experienced it, having been a client of yours many, many years ago.
I need to know your story because guess what? If I know your story and you know mine, we become friends.
Yeah.
And if we genuinely care for each other, there's nothing you can do to stop me.
You're not hiding anywhere, are you?
There's nowhere to hide. My passion for our relationship and friendship, that's going to overpower any doubt that you ever have. Any self-worth that you're questioning. And if you're questioning how much you're valued, the love and passion and what we created in our friendship, because we know each other's stories, that will crush everything else. And that will rise to the top. I
watched so many of your videos, and every single person that you work with within your health centre, you can just see the light that comes in. And just their aura changes the minute you start working with them. And, we'll get into how creative some of those sessions are. I mean, I think they're incredible. How you conjure up all those different versions.
I'm a bit of a psycho. You should know that I'm a bit of a madman.
But I think it's amazing. I think the fact that, and they're all so different. And I understand that once you've had that connection with that person and you understand what they need, then it becomes a lot easier for you to provide them with what it is that they will need to develop and to progress. And gosh, you see the progression in these people every single time, because the beauty about your videos is that, it's almost like as a person that's watching, I feel connected. I feel connected to Kira. I feel connected to Brenda. I feel connected to Tommy, because I just think, wow, I'm watching them progressing each week as you put another video out there. And, that brings a smile on my face. So, God knows what it's doing to them.
We're all human. We're all human at the end of the day. And that's one of the best compliments when people tell me things like that. Like what you just said, then it means the world to me, because all I'm doing is, I think we've all got fantastic qualities. We've all got fantastic qualities in us. And listen, some people have had it hard. Some people are from poverty. I've seen the other side of the coin. I know I've got friends and family and people that I love that are living in real poverty. And I want to say to people, experience that. Experience what people are really going through, because it's impossible not to be grateful in the UK. It's impossible. Because what we've got here is paradise. A bad day in England, I've said it a million times, is paradise elsewhere. Yeah. And when people see just humans trying to be the best that they can, how can you not be inspired by that? It doesn't matter about the wheelchair. It's your perception of what's big. Look at Usain Bolt, right? When he did his 9.9 summit and he was lightning quick. It's amazing, right? It's amazing. Shout out Usain, but guess what? Anne, who's had a stroke, who's for 6 months is working so hard just to move the affected arm 2 inches. That's just as impressive to me as Usain Bolt running that world record in the Olympics. And does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
And I think I celebrate people's greatness. I celebrate people's wins, because guess what? We're in a world where people don't celebrate each other's wins. I'm not a hater. I want to see people winning. That's why I compliment so much. We're living in a world now where people compliment today and then want to dish you tomorrow. A compliment is very so shallow, important. Isn't it? Yeah. A compliment is the window to a smile. So when the world now feels like people want me to lose, whether you're disabled, whether you're going through whatever, a lot of people are sat back going, I feel like the world wants me to lose. So when you give somebody a compliment, it's letting them know that, one, you're positive, but two, I want you to win, baby. I want you to win. And I think it's so important just as humans to celebrate other humans doing good things. Very simple.
If there was a magic wand that you could just wave as a fixer, because that's who you are, what would you want to change and what would you do?
I wish I could transport myself to places.
But then you could only be in one place at any one time. So isn't a clone better? Just lots of Javinos that can go to lots of different parts of the world.
Maybe. I don't tell, but this is when I do these kind of talks, man, it's therapeutic for me because I don't talk to people about my stuff. 2 weeks ago, I had a young lady. She's got a baby, a child, terminally ill, 4 years old. I wish I could just pop myself and go straight over to where she is. If I had any power in the world, it wouldn't be to have money and Lamborghinis and all of that stuff. I wish I could just transport myself to people who need it because I've realised, again, because I found peace with myself, that I've got, dare I say, a gift of just bringing people happiness through exercise and being myself, being truly true to myself, and people like it and it gives them joy. And I wish I could just go to America, give somebody a hug, give somebody 20 minutes of jokes, of banter, create a world where they can laugh and smile through some pain, go somewhere else and give it to somebody else, because there's no way to respond to things like that. Only thing I can do is just bow my head and thank God that I'm gifted and I've got this gift, but also find peace in knowing that if I could, I would.
And it kind of shows the selflessness that you have about yourself, because that magic wand could have meant anything. It could have meant that you just get rid of disability completely, you know, from the world. But actually it just shows where your dedication and your commitment and your mindset is, which is, you know, you're realistic, you'll work with what you have, and, you know, you'll do your best.
I wouldn't get rid of disability. I think I'm a believer in things happen for a reason, and the way the world is, it's the way God meant it to be.
And we're all here to learn from it, aren't we?
We're all here to learn from it.
Yeah.
And it's whatever card you've been given. So I've been given cards that I'm able-bodied and I've got a good beard. Hair's going a bit, but I've got, you know what I mean? But
You still get the chicken legs though.
Leave my legs alone, dude. Yeah, so those are the cards that I've been dealt, and unfortunately other people have been dealt cards that are different.
Yeah.
And it is what it is.
Let's pick another word.
Just getting interesting. Ooh, pain.
Honestly, there were bits in that conversation where we were talking and pain was coming into my mind. So it's great that it's now fallen in place for this flow.
It is fantastic. Pain is something that I've actually learned to really study and kind of get obsessed with in the last couple of years, especially heart pain. We all go through heart pain. Heart pain's the worst pain.
But I see a lot of pain in you though.
Oh God, there's loads. But the pain that's becoming ever so large inside of me is because without even knowing it, I've taken over people's pain.
That's right.
I'm okay, man.
Energetically though, you're taking on a lot of
people's
that.
pain.
Yeah.
This is where self-belief comes into it as well, because self-belief is what kind of blocks pain. But pain, you got to just learn how to use it, and use it in a way. I like to use pain in a way to create something greater that can overshadow the pain. So for my strategy is, if I can make this person really laugh, smile, forget about all the drama and all the horrible things that they've got to go through today, and just be as present as I can, all of them wonderful feelings will overshadow the pain. I'm literally so obsessed with it, D, like, okay, what can I do to make that person forget about the pain?
But you're still, when you take that pain on, what do you do? We talk a lot about, and it made me chuckle when you said self-belief, because every single guest that I work with on my podcasts, the idea of the podcast is for people to take something away. Anybody that's listened to it, watched it, they have that aha moment and they think, wow, that's amazing. And they pay that forward and share it with somebody else. And self-belief always, it's a recurring theme that comes back again and again and again. You know, I've spoken to guests who are super successful, but they find there are still moments in their life where their self-belief, just a little bit like a barometer, you know, will kind of drop. What do you do to just recalibrate and almost turn up
my self-belief?
Yeah.
So my self-belief is insane. My belief in I don't mean that.
I believe that.
I don't mean it in a boastful way. Like, it makes people uncomfortable. My belief in what I can do is unreal. There's nobody that, I'm tunnel vision with it, but it means nothing deeper. If I can't create something to make somebody else have that same kind of self-belief, to me, I failed. What's the point in me being this crazy guy that's super motivational and inspirational and got an insane amount of self-belief, but this young girl with cerebral palsy, this young boy with Down syndrome, I can't give you a little piece of that. It's pointless. It's like being a good coach. What's the point in being a football coach if you can't coach? There's no point. So to me, my self-belief is insane. It's crazy, but it doesn't mean nothing. It's not impressive, and I'm not happy about it unless I can pass it on to somebody. So let's say one of my young girls now, wonderful young girl who's now started going, she's had a horrible time with a disability, went to the cinema for the first time with her girlfriends to watch the Barbie movie. I'm proud of myself there now because I've given her a little bit of self-belief that I've got. I've passed it on in the right way, and now she's improved her life. That makes me proud.
Just ahead of this podcast, I reached out to Kira Mitchell, and she was happy for me. Yeah, I did. Her exact words, and just for context, for people that don't know who Kira is, Kira had a brain tumor, which was like a child brain tumor that she had a lot later on in life, didn't she? So the doctors didn't really know how to deal with it when she did have it. She had it removed, but they didn't know what the symptoms would be post-operation. And these are her words exactly. She says, "He changed my life. I was actually suicidal around 2022. Then I met Javino in February 2023. He literally saved me from actually going through with it. He's so motivational. He believed in me before I believed in myself. I've been going there every week since." So here's the funny thing. When I told her that I was doing this podcast with you and I said it was on a Monday, her first reaction to me was, "Monday? That's when he trains me."
That's what she said this morning. I've just left her. I've just left her. Kira's wonderful. Kira's a queen. She's very important to me. She represents a generation of people that just want to be okay. I think the world's hard now, and people always question, am I going to be okay? I'm willing to risk everything. That's where my mind is so... It's different. I'm willing to risk everything. So when I met Kira, I didn't know how it would grow, but I'm willing to believe in you so much that if something happens later on and we don't click and it doesn't, and we don't achieve nothing, and you hate me, cool. I'm willing to try. I'm willing to put everything into you because I believe in you, because I believe that you should be happy. You can see pain. I think people don't look. In India is the first time people really looked at people. When I went to India and I was around certain people, elderly people in India, they listen and they talk and they listen to every word that's coming out my mouth. In England, we didn't really do that. So when I was playing cricket over there, I kind of learned to really listen to people because it's a sign of disrespect, really, if I'm talking to you for 20 minutes and I'm not taking anything that you've said. With Kira, when I first looked at her, all I seen was pain. And it was just important for me to go, let me show you that you're going to be okay. I'm willing to do everything, even if we look a bit silly at some points. And I don't know how it's going to end. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad, but I'm willing to risk it all. And I'm like that with every one of my clients.
And she's a great example because from being able to step out of a car, for her to hoover, for her to pick things up from the floor, for her to be able to squat to the floor and stand up all by herself. Like I said, honestly, I feel like sometimes when I'm watching them, I'm going on the journey with them. And I feel so happy, when I've actually watched them achieve what it is. I feel like I've won something, and that'll be the empath in me, but I really genuinely feel what they're feeling. So I think it's incredible. And it was great to get that from Kira because the other thing that's kind of happened is when I watched her TikTok and the transition because obviously she'd given me the timeline of 2022 to 2023, and the timeline of the way she was presenting herself on TikTok to how she presents herself from that time is unbelievable.
Do you think she's a little bit of a diva? She's a bit of a diva. She's
amazing. She really is. And one thing that really kind of struck me was a mother had reached out to her on TikTok her child had been diagnosed with the same kind of brain tumor. And she just goes piece to camera and says, "Listen, he's like my sibling. Anything that you need, you just reach out to me and I'll help wherever I can." And I just thought, wow, so going back to the self-belief, that's something that you've helped instill in her, because otherwise she was at suicidal point.
People think, when you're passing on good energy and vibe and love, it doesn't have to be drastic. Just passing on a little bit of love, a little bit of energy to somebody could snowball into the greatest impact. And with Kira, her doing that should hopefully it gets passed on and passed on and passed on. And I think this is why I try my best to just try and pass on as much. It's not about being I still don't get it. This is how horrible the world is. I still don't get why I'm so amazing. I still don't get why the world's going crazy.
Does it make you angry?
No, it just makes me realise that the world needs it. And this is why I do as many podcasts as I can, and I do all the stuff that I do, because I think there's people who are being forgotten about. There's people who have not been seen.
You're creating awareness, aren't you?
Yeah, and that's what it's about, creating awareness and giving the people the opportunity to be seen.
Yeah.
And I think it's vital.
which is something that they don't actually get. I know everybody asks you this question around when did it all first start for you? I think the difference with me will be that I've known you for a very long time, and nothing has changed in who you are, what you set out as an intention to help people. You've just, like I said in the introduction, you've found your soul true purpose, which you're so lucky to do. And now you get to live that every single day. Do you think that you can relate to people being seen more? Because culturally, coming from where we come from and our generation, as immigrants, our parents coming to this country, my parents in particular, we had to find our way into becoming accepted, and not only accepting, but then thriving. Do you think there's an element of your experiences as a child where you may not have been quite aware or sure where you fit in, and so you can relate to that with your clients?
I don't deep.
Damn it, I thought I got it then as well, Jay.
Because this is why it's really weird. I'm very lucky that I've been raised with a beautiful house. Like my mum and dad, my brothers, my family have been fantastic. I've not come from hardship.
No, but I mean, like society, the education. I mean, I was bullied when I was at school. So I know there's definitely an element of that for me, that I went through a process of trying to find where I belonged, because we had cultural roots that were really strong. And rightfully so, and I'm really proud of them. But coming into a Western country with very different cultures, very different, ways of doing things, I found it difficult. Yeah. So I just wondered whether you, had similar experiences.
I've just got a problem with injustice. I think that's what it is with me. I've said I can't. A lot of times people think that I've got somebody in my family that's disabled, not that I know of. I was just raised around love, and when you're raised in a house full of love,
you want that for everyone, don't you?
I want that for everybody, man. And it's not, love isn't huge gestures. Love isn't monumental things that have been bought and big things. Love is just checking in that you're okay, making sure that you're, and noticing if you're not okay. Love is actually just being side by side. We may not even speak, but just to let you know I'm here.
The energy's there.
That's love to me. And I think in 2024, the way the world is, love seems to be materialistic. Love seems to be cars and houses and watches and money. Where love is just humans checking in on other humans and doing whatever you can to make somebody else's day better in whichever way, shape or form that is.
Amazing.
Dr. Hope. What does that mean?
So that's what I think you should be called, really, Dr. Hope. Well, yeah, and it's such a strong word, isn't it? There was a recent study that I read, a newspaper had covered it, and it's about the hope molecule. They have now labelled this concept of exercising. So when your muscle contracts, you actually, and we know you already that your hormones are secreted, and oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine are released. There's a thing called, it's a protein molecule called myokine, and that is the hope molecule. It's scientifically been proven now. So when you exercise, it acts as an antidepressant.
Wow.
And this is why I feel you should embrace
the Dr. Hope.
The title of Dr. Hope. How do you feel about that?
I really like it. Somebody make me a t-shirt with Dr. Hope. I've got a notebook, that's at the front of it. I put hope in big letters, because with me, people can't lose hope. If you lose hope, it's very dangerous. Losing hope, to me, it's about protecting hearts. It sounds corny, but to me, that's what I see it as. How can I protect this person's heart? That they've already been through so much pain. So if you can't let somebody lose hope. If somebody loses hope, you're exposing that person's heart. Care is what protects that person's heart. Care is what fixes that person's heart. Care is what allows that person to redefine the boundaries. So losing hope is something that's the biggest no-no for me. And that's why I don't give negativity or doubt a platform to grow. That's why sometimes when you hear me in videos, the second I hear somebody saying something negative or hopeless, I shut it up.
You turned off.
I turn it off because I don't want it to come out of your body.
Yeah.
I don't want it to come out into this room.
Because it's all energy.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
And it's energy that people absorb, whether good or bad. So hope to me is something that every single day I always make sure that no matter what someone's going through, and I'm saying I've dealt with some of the most horrible situations, but you can't lose hope.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to start a petition. If you think Javino should rebrand himself to Dr. Hope, Drop some comments below and let us know, because we would love to hear what you've got to say. Also, if this conversation has been truly inspirational for you, then please share it with others. We are all about creating a movement of trying to help each other grow and become the best versions of ourselves. And for me, this is just an incredible example of how we can watch what other people are doing for other people and help ourselves grow in the process. Javino, thank you so much. It has been truly inspirational. You are inspirational anyway, but I think sitting here and feeling your energy and just, having that moment with you has been amazing. It took me about a year to get you, but I'm so glad you finally made it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dee. Thank you for having me, guys. Thank you.